Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Sani Yusuf again. It's been a while since I made a video here on, I don't know, I guess YouTube. Not and why am I making this video today? It's crazy. This is the one time I'm making a video and I don't even have a title for this video. I just felt like making one. So on Thursday last week, I'm speaking to you on September the 12th on a Monday, and on September the 8th on a Thursday, correct? Yes, 8th. I took a trip to Manchester. Now, why did I take a trip to Manchester? If you don't know, in Manchester, it is in the north of England. It's around 2 hours, 10-minute train from London. And I went to watch a psychologist I really like, a man called Dr. Jordan Peterson. Now, some of you may know him. Some of you may not know who Jordan Peterson is. Some of you may know him for the right reasons. Some of you may know him for wrong reasons. It doesn't really bother me what your perception of Jordan Peterson is. I'm just going to speak on my personal experience. So, Jordan Peterson is an interesting character in the sense that I believe I started learning about Jordan Peterson when I started watching some of his videos. Not necessarily the stuff that had to do with the Bill C-16. I feel like I learned about Jordan Peterson in reverse. He became mostly popular because he was posting his lectures online. And then he got into this whole trans debate, something like that, where I think he was accused of being transphobic because he opposed a law that forced you to potentially, like, if you did not use a pronoun that somebody said you were required to use, that you could go to jail. By the way, I actually have a similar stance to it. I don't think people should be forced to, like, it should be up to me if I want to be kind enough to say sir, madam, or whatever. But if I choose not to, that's me being probably a little bit of a nasty person. But that does not necessarily mean I should go to jail for refusing to acknowledge whatever pronoun that somebody else is. I think that's a little bit too far. And I think most sensible people, I would argue, would think that. Although I still say probably people should maybe respect. It depends. Each to their own. But anyways. So it wasn't about the whole Bill C-16 Canada thing. I had nothing to do with that. I'm not a Canadian. It was more because his lectures that he used to post online, I used to find them interesting. So I work in mental health and I read a lot about psychology. I'm not a psychologist. So I found it very helpful because it was almost like I like talking and I like to share. I like to think I like to inspire people where I can. And by doing that, I started hearing him say specific things that I was thinking in my head. And it was interesting. And then I watched the Kathy Newman interview, I remember, with a journalist, where he was really, really interesting because I think it was a textbook example of when someone is trying to box you in. They have a nefarious or malevolent intent on how to force you to say specific things. It was a very interesting way to handle that. And to be honest, just from that interview, I've learned how to handle myself better in conversations with people that don't necessarily have good faith, where, you leave them frustrated because they're not able to make you agree to specific things so that they can accuse you of other things. I don't know why people do that. Maybe we all do at some point because we want to be right, but it was an interesting thing. So, but anyways, I'm just giving you the background as to how I got in touch with Jordan Peterson, and then I bought his book, 12 Rules for Life, which is a very profound book. Again, a lot of the things he wrote in that book were things I was already thinking myself, but he has this great gift of taking very complex ideas, or ideas that may seem complex, and really simplify them. So, clean your room. It's a pretty simple idea, but then it's an allegory or a metaphor for something a little bit deeper. And if you're that type of person where you like that depth, someone that can go into depth on the most simple things, and I happen to be one of those types of people, then you'd enjoy his content. And yeah, so I'm that type of person. You ask me a question, I could go for an hour about, like, what is life, that's why I say I talk too much. But so it was really interesting going in there, and I was lucky I got a ticket to go watch him in meet and greet VIP. Yes. I like to spend money on things that I think are worth it. I like to spend money on things that I think have value. I think if I see something that has value, why shouldn't I spend money on that thing? I think it will be crazy for me not to spend money on things that where I can go somewhere a 3,000 seater with other people, similar like mind, potentially meet other people, make connections, and all of that. That is really interesting. The most important person you should be investing is yourself, and I felt like that was one of the things that I wanted to invest in. So it was really nice. I got to watch him, and there were some great questions that were asked. And I don't really know why I'm making this video. I'm not like the video of the session I attended in Manchester on the 8th is actually, I believe it's on YouTube, so people can actually go and see it. There were great questions that he talked about. So there was a young lad in the audience. His mom brought him. He's 8, well dressed, young white kid, well dressed. You could see suited, booted, tie. Looked like young Sheldon. And he asked a question because at the VIP we got to stay back when everybody else left, and then we got to take photos. Yeah, I have a photo with Jordan Peterson. But also we got to ask 3 extra questions for 20 minutes extra and stay back. So it's really interesting. And the young boy got the last question. I didn't have any question. I just came there to listen. I'm a talker, but when I meet people like that, I just want to listen. The question was, how did you become so wise? And Jordan had an interesting question, because one of the things when that boy asked that question, that's a very deep question. And I wanted to see how Jordan answered that question in a way that an 8-year-old would be able to make sense. And when he answered that question, that made me understand that my idea on how Jordan Peterson answers question is spot on, in the sense that he's able to take something very small, go into depth, but in a way that even an 8-year-old would be able to make sense of it. And his answer was the fact that you can... I guess that's probably a good idea to name this particular video, Slaying a Dragon. He said, as an 8-year-old, you pick an 8-year-old dragon, an 8-year-old size dragon, a dragon the size of an 8-year-old to slay, to tackle, to tackle, right? And then he changed his mind. He said, actually, maybe you should be picking a dragon that is the size of a 9-year-old. Why? That pushes you a little bit to be a little bit more, how do you say, like it pushes you to your edge. And that's interesting. That's a very profound, a very simple thing, but if you think about it, that's true. As if you growth is what you're after, you always want to be on the edge of that growth. And it's something that I struggle with every single day. I'm trying to push myself to the extreme, because that's where there is growth. If you think about the gym, when I go to the gym, right? When I started deadlifting the gym, the first day I went to deadlift, I had 15 plates. That would have been 50 kg, and I was struggling. Today, when I want to just warm up, just my warm up, okay, let me just oil my legs. I'm putting 25-25 or 25-25. That's 70 kg. That's what I warm up with. Like, okay, let's just, oil the body. That's my warm up. That's crazy. There was a time when I started and everything. So now when I'm lifting, I'm adding 1.25 kg, 2.5 kg, just a little bit above my last. And I remember I had like a 140 kg 1 rep max deadlift for a very long time, and now on one day I was able to do 145 and 150. Just add little bits and pieces. So it's like, find out what your, and I think there's something deeper in what he said. The whole idea is, first of all, you need to know what your limits are, and just above that limit you tackle it. So you need to know what your limits are. Your limit as an 8-year-old is 8-year-old things, right? Most likely. But you need to find a 9-year-old stuff, because that pushes you. It's like if you're a footballer, play with the people just above you. That way you get better, And I like to do that sometimes. It's like, I try to have conversation. Conversationally, I'm probably a little bit disagreeable, controversial, in the sense that I like to spark conversations. I like to find out, I want to disagree with things, because that way it challenges me to figure out what I don't know, or what I do know, or what I can change about myself, or what I can solidify. If I'm asking somebody to back up their point and I'm listening very carefully, if they make sense out of something that I disagree with, right? I disagree with this, but they've made me think about it this way. Let me change my stance, or let me at least concede that they are right, Or if they don't make any sense of it, and I'm able to provide a logical pathway, right? I look at their response. Are they open to respond? Are they open to saying, maybe? Or are they just waffling about? Or does it then solidify my stance? Like, okay, well, I've asked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and we've had very great conversations, and they're not able to make me see why I am wrong, you know? And for you to do that, that requires you to go in there not trying to win. That requires you go in there saying, hey, I'm going to present my facts, but it's not about winning. It's really about it's a sparring session. Like, I'm not trying to beat you, you're not trying to beat me. We're trying to make each other better. And I think a lot of people should do that, in the sense that you should figure out what dragon you have. What size of dragon you need to tackle, and tackle that dragon, and then tackle the dragon above it. Because that way you're always growing, and eventually wisdom will come. And I'm on that journey. You'll always be on that journey. I'll always be tackling things in my life. I'll always be looking to be a better man, potentially a better not father, I don't have any children, a better man, a better son, a better brother, a better cousin, a better friend, a better leader, a better, like, everything, communicator, because I am accepting that I am fallible as a human being, and there's so much room for me to improve. There are so many different dragons that I can slay. And I think that's very important, because if I don't accept that, then I would just be fooling myself. And I challenge you to also think of life that way, in the sense that there's so many dragons out there. Don't be scared of the dragon. The whole idea is, if you're out there, you're just scared of tackling that dragon, the dragon is not going anywhere. So you need to go out and slay that dragon. And you start to realize slaying a dragon is it's not as difficult as you thought. Because, you know, just as you're trying to figure out how to slay that dragon, that 8-year-old dragon is trying to figure out how to slay the 8-year-old you. And I'm not talking about a real dragon here. This is just a metaphor for actually going to look for a challenge, a suffering, right? When I say suffering, I mean you need to go and find discomfort, because inside discomfort is the only place that you can really find true growth. If you look at all the times that you got better in life, it was because you put yourself under duress. Like, you know, if you look at physically, the human body is designed to respond to your muscles breaking and solidifying and becoming stronger, your bones breaking out and solidifying and becoming stronger, everything. You know, comfort is the one thing that will kill you. And I'm someone that, you know what, my proclivity is, I love hardship, but sometimes I can just get too comfortable, and I have to go find that. I'm always like trying to be critical of myself, like, yo, don't get too comfortable. No, go out there. Why? That's where growth is. The things that you're scared of, face them. And I am scared of a lot of things. I'm scared of them, but if I don't go out to challenge myself to really do that, then I never will. So I'm hoping that this hopefully inspires someone, because Jordan Peterson definitely inspired me. In fact, when I sat down with him, when I sat down there watching him, my dream has always been to be a public speaker, a writer, and a teacher. That's what I want to be paid to do. I can't do that now, because obviously I still have a long way to go to build. I'm only just just almost halfway into my life expectancy. There's a long way for me to go to be wise. You shouldn't listen to me. I don't have the results yet, right? But I want to be there, and I want to have that. And I would like to think, like, you know, I have somewhat of a clue, at least relatively, to what it is I am doing. But for the most part, I'm still trying to figure it out. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that day when he sat down, I saw him doing that. I said, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do this for a living for sure. It's just a matter of time. And that he was able to inspire me to say, you know what? I'm scared because, yes, I don't want to really put in effort for that, but I am going to put in the effort for that. I am going to create the website. I am going to publicize that. I'm going to be known in the way where now I can be invited to do this for a living. So, yes, it's something that I've been really been thinking about, and eventually I will get there. And it was very inspirational. So, hopefully go read the book 12 Rules for Life and Beyond Order, because this was the Beyond Order tour. Both of them really amazing. I wasn't a fan of Maps of Meaning. I listened to it halfway and I was like, nope, that's his very first book before he became popular. It was a bit too complex for me. I think he hadn't gotten to the point where he was able to make complex things simple. So it's very confusing for me, and I have no problem saying that. And, you know, and you don't have to agree with everything he says. That's not the point I'm saying. Is figure out what works for you, that somebody is saying that makes sense, and take that. And you don't have to pay attention to the other things that you don't agree with, right? Jordan Peterson talks about Christianity. I'm a Muslim. I'm not probably gonna get a lot of value from what he's saying in that particular perspective. That's okay. But when he talks about how to be better, how for men can be better, women can be better, all of that, perfect. So anyways, ça passe. Why am I speaking Haitian? But yeah, Sani Yusuf here. See you next time.